Hello, welcome to Don't Tread on Me, 2009, November 27th. Today I would like to talk to you about the establishment. What establishment is it that I am talking about? The establishment that would be able to break the law and do what it wants. That establishment. I'm not talking about the establishment that's set up by the people for the people and is working for the people. People in the establishment are there on that basis. Those people are good. The other establishment, this is a two-winged establishment. There's another establishment. The establishment of which I am speaking is the establishment that would do what it wants, contrary to the people's will. Let's have an example. Example 1.
You think lawmakers would make sure they follow the rules too. In tonight's CBS 42 Investigates, Nancy Wilson found out many don't.
Relating to voter integrity.
Some lawmakers are pushing for measures such as requiring voters to show a photo ID before being allowed to cast a ballot. Another bill would criminalize anyone who delivers a ballot for someone unable to drive to the polls. Now, with so much emphasis on one vote for one person, you'd think lawmakers would make sure they follow the rules too. In tonight's CBS 42 Investigates, Nancy Wilson found out many don't. It's a record vote, Clark.
Now you'll notice this is not on a regular. I don't think this is a national broadcast. This should be a national broadcast. Sorry. At least the local one's doing it.
Please read the bill.
This is State Representative Debbie Riddle. She authored the bill that would require voters to show a photo ID.
Clerk, bring the
Debbie Riddle.
It's all of that.
Which, by the way, still appears to be holding her seat. I'm going to look up the rest of these people.
Integrity. But the integrity of one person, one vote doesn't apply at the legislature. We found many lawmakers vote more than once. Take a look. Riddle votes, turns around, votes again for State Rep Temple. Rewind and watch them.
Now you wonder how it is private companies are buying federal highways and toll roads and getting control of the new toll roads in Texas. Let's see how maybe this could be. Could it be 1 or 2 or 3, 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 people doing it?
And on the screen, Elkins goes to vote for Merritt, but Hancock is faster. Elkins heads back to his desk, but before he can vote, Joe Pratt turns around and beats him to it. There is so much going on during the vote on the HPV vaccine mandate, you really have to pay attention. Start with State Rep Hamilton at his desk. He leans over to vote a second time for his desk mate Dan Branch, then reaches back to vote for Charlie Howard and casts a fourth vote for Wayne Smith. He's not the only one scrambling to vote. Rewind the video and take a look at the top of the screen. State Reps West and Phillips both lean over to vote for themselves and their desk mates. Phillips votes a third time for Christian. On the left, Donna Howard votes for State Rep Bo. State Representative Dunham didn't have to leave his chair to cast 4 votes. One for himself, then for Coleman, Martinez Fisher, and then Vesey. Sometimes.
Listen. Anybody out there in the land of the world, you need to look these people up and send them letters, and maybe even ask the people that were being voted for if they gave permission, which apparently it's not permissible to vote for somebody else in the first place. So, okay, so lack of representation. First off, the people who are being voted for that aren't there representing. Why? They shouldn't be allowed to vote unless like 60 or 70 or 80% of them there in the first place. Now, you got the people who are multiply voting. They're voting. You know what? I was watching TV once. I used to live in Texas. I do not now. But I remember watching this stuff on TV. And I remember thinking the numbers didn't add up, but it was a long time ago. And it never, when I seen this, I thought, whoa! Made me instantly think back to the time I was watching the TV, and I was watching these Nuberfies work. How it seemed like there was more numbers on the board than there was people voting. Well, I don't know. I didn't know. Maybe they had people voting from long distance or something, and they weren't sitting there on the floor. Now, I know that's not to be true.
The voting is across party lines. Hartnett, a Republican, reaches back to vote for Democrat Oliveira. Democrat Matt Reynolds votes for Republican England, and Republican John Davis votes for Democrat Noriega. Most voters have no way of knowing if their lawmakers are actually casting their own vote. Even though the legislature is broadcast on cable TV, the cameras change from this to this when it's...
See? It's broadcast on TV, and they move it from the voting thing to this. And then they'll show the ticker board with the votes. That's what I saw. That's where the thing that I was thinking, whoa, that's weird. Seems like there was more votes than there are people.
Time to vote. But if you're sitting on the third floor gallery,
I certainly noticed that there appear to be far more votes on the tick board than there were people in the room.
Arnie and Laurel Weiss were baffled when they came to see the legislature in action.
It seems very inappropriate that they should do something about it. Yeah, definitely.
State Rep Debbie Reynolds says voting for other members is done out of necessity.
We have a lot of votes. We have a lot of amendments. And there's times when we don't break for lunch and we don't break for dinner. We don't have bathroom breaks.
Necessity or not, one thing is clear.
No bathroom breaks. Man, if you're having to push through bills so fast and rapidly that you can't take a bathroom break, does anybody watching this think that these people even understand these bills? Have read these bills? I bet you if you start looking at these bills, they're so thick, they'll make your head spin. I mean, new laws and everything, they're just cramming them through as fast as they can, and they're multiply voting. Who is paying these people to break the law and vote multiple times? I mean, I've seen this video on LiveLeak and now on YouTube. I found it again. This is horrific, people. This is horrific. I mean, how in the heck anybody sees it? Did anybody ever take this and like wrap it up and send it to the FBI and say, hey guys, I have some proof of criminal activities? You know what I'm saying? Because this has to be criminal. It has to be beyond the law. They're going to say in a second there's House committee rules that prevent it that are supposed to be preventing it. And then the guy that sits at the top of the House committee, this chairman, he's supposed to make sure it doesn't happen, that he wouldn't give a reply back. I mean, come on, people. All of Texas is like being sold out like left and right, and this is exactly how it's happening. A couple people are taking all the votes, and the other people aren't there. I mean, is this even... I'm not a lawyer or anything, right? This is why I didn't... Okay, so somebody needs to look into this and actually... Oh yeah. Why doesn't somebody in Texas sue a legislator for double voting? Sue them for not representing them. Not, malrepresentation or whatever, something like that. You know what I'm saying?
They aren't supposed to be doing it. According to the official House rules, written, voted, and approved by lawmakers at the beginning of the session, any member found guilty by the House of knowingly voting for another member on the voting machine shall be subject to discipline deemed appropriate by the House.
Clerk, bring the bill to record.
So, should lawmakers do it?
Alright, so, I bet you, I'm going to look this up in a second, I bet you these fools haven't even been disciplined. None of them. None of them. I bet you they're still there. I bet you they're all probably freaking still pushing other people's buttons. Somebody should start an initiative in Texas to make it to where their House can't take votes unless so many people are there. And no, everybody has to vote on it, no matter what.